Seeing none, we'll move into the first of the recognition item, which is Partnerships for Water Sustainability in BC. I'm going to introduce Mr. Kim Stevens. So welcome, Mr. Stevens.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and members of the Council. And I'm here because I'm passionate about rainwater management. I'm passionate about water sustainability, or watershed sustainability, but I'm not here to talk about me. I'm actually here to talk about your staff and their passion for rainwater management and watershed sustainability. So in terms of three-part presentation, obviously it's why, what, and so what, because I'm going to set the context, and then in the what part, I'm going to recognize you by giving you the coveted letter of recognition. So that'll be your cue, Mr. Mayor. And then I want to conclude by the so what part, which is really celebrating what we're calling the story of Hastings Creek. So, rainwater management, what's the issue? Well, the issue is the ever-increasing building footprint. And what's that doing? It's short-circuiting the water balance. So here you have the classic on the left, the small house on the big lot, and on the right you now have the big house on the small lot. So that's the essence of the issue. So why is it an issue? Well, when you harden the land surface and you eliminate those below-ground flow paths, then the water balance is short-circuited such that you have financial and sustainability consequences. What does that mean in common language? Well, too much water, too little water. And you know, in terms on too much water in terms of erosion and channel instability and all the consequences, you know, you're having enough time paying for the basics, sewer and water and roads, let alone take on the unfunded liability, which is the downstream consequences of changes in land use. And of course, the too little water, fish don't survive. So coming out of all of this is really a guiding principle, and the guiding principle is that stream health, watershed health, it depends on all properties in a watershed. And so, you know, the solution in a built-up municipality like North Vancouver District, where it's primarily redevelopment, well, the redevelopment actually creates the opportunity to get each site to make things better, so that after redevelopment, each site will function as it did before or better from a hydrological point of view. So, you know, in terms of, you know, who am I and who are we and you know, why am I here? Well, the partnership is a society. The district is actually a charter member, and so while the society or the partnership is not government, government is very much a part of it, and without government, there is no partnership. And really that leads into what is the role, and you know, we're all volunteers. Even those who have day jobs are volunteers, because so much of what everyone's trying to do is off the corner of their desk. But in terms of the specific role, it's a bridging role between province, local government, and community, and it's fostering alignment of regional local actions with provincial goals. And Mr. Mayor, you probably may remember that I was the chair of the reference panel going back a few years ago, and so you saw that in action in terms of how we try to align, you know, and cascade all the way down. And really what we're trying to do then is facilitate interregional collaboration in the local government setting, and collaboration flows both ways in terms of how people benefit. So, in terms of the collaborative model and you know, role that we are playing in terms of implementing living water, smart and green communities, and really for the last 10 years, my responsibility has been, you know, delivering the Water Sustainability Action Plan for partnerships. And in that role, we're also the stewards of the stormwater planning and guidebook for British Columbia. And really importantly, the partnership is a hub for convening for action, a convening for action network in the local government setting. So what does that mean when we talk about convening for action, the Water Sustainability Action Plan? Well, our mantra is we develop tools, you know, we develop talent, we focus on outcomes, and you know, what is that Venn diagram? What's it really all about? Well, it's images, products and tools. It's the water balance model. You're a founding partner in that. It's the Water Bucket website. It's the water conservation calculator. You know, moving on to capacity building, you know, education and training, networking outreach. Well, it's all about people, isn't it? And it's about people, you know, sharing and learning from each other. And in terms of weekly e-blasts, I guess most of you get them because I made sure that in terms of up to today. Because tomorrow the weekly e-blast will feature the District of North Vancouver and the story of Hastings Creek and the watershed blueprint. So I kind of like the commercial, but kind of getting to the what is it we're about here? and recognizing your innovation and your leadership. And you know, there's so much that North Vancouver is doing. I call them demonstrations. And so much of what you're doing, they are foundation pieces for provincial strategies and tools. And being more specific, you know, for the past decade, and I'm looking over Richard Bowes because Richard, it's hard to believe that a lot of the stuff has been going on for more than a decade, but the experience, district experience, has provided core content for provincial guidance documents, such as the Stormwater Guidebook, and curricula for training sessions, workshops, and seminars held around the province. And you know, Richard Bowes, he's not only a member of the teaching team, but he is a key member of the teaching team. But it's not just Richard. I just wanted to share some of these individuals. You must know them all. These are people who are making a difference in terms of helping the partnership be successful, because if the partnership is successful, it helps you be successful, and it's just a win-win all around. So, Mr. Mayor, this is your cue slide, because we do wish to recognize the district as a champion supporter of the partnership, and I do have the letter of recognition suitably framed for you, and really we want to recognize the district's commitment in helping the partnership achieve its vision for water sustainability through implementation of green infrastructure. So, pretty cool.
If I can, let me ask Richard Bowes to come up with me. The staff has obviously under Council's direction has so much here. That's Richard represents staff up here as part of this. So staff here as well.
These are very exciting, isn't it? Dave. It's been years, hasn't it, since you left the so now, like the so what part, you know, the preamble. In your package, I see that you do have this document. You know, short form, I call it the story of Hastings Creek, but really, you know, the true title is a watershed blueprint for Hastings Creek, creating the future in the district of North Vancouver. And funny, this in terms of getting back to our partners, you know, at some point we said, well, we want to be able to help the district in terms of tell your story, and I thought it would just take, you know, maybe 10 pages, right? And then the thing kind of got going in terms of, well, you got to talk to you got to talk to Steve, you know, you got to talk to everybody, you got to capture the stories. So really, what this document is, if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, it is the story of what's going on in this municipality through the eyes of those who are leading change and making a difference. So it's not like the report, but you know, there's technical content there, and we wanted to capture that human element. And so, you know, stepping back, well, why the interest in this? Well, integrated stormwater management plans, ISMPs. No doubt you've heard the acronym. As the guy who coined the acronym about 15 years ago, I rue the day, because you know what seemed okay in '98 just doesn't cut it, you know. And so that's why we talk about blueprints, watershed blueprints. But really, the significance is that in terms of a course correction, well, the District of North Vancouver is leading because things were off track 5 years ago. And again, my reference to being the chair of the reference panel, that was one of the things we highlighted, which was, you know, things were off track, and we needed to get them back on track. And part of doing that was what you've been doing. And so when we talk about getting it back on track, well, what's the goal? It's an integrated and balanced action to improve the health of urban watersheds. And this is something we're really trying to come to grips with finally, because we've talked about it for a long time, but in a pragmatic way. And so in terms of the how, well, it's, you know, you've got to get the vision right, and that's part of the story of Hastings Creek, and then you can set those achievable targets. And, you know, if those two are in play, then the next thing is you've got to provide the planners with the detail necessary to guide site-level decisions. So when the decisions come before council on a regular basis, you know, it's informed, it's not highfalutin language. And then you got to implement. So that's really the essence of when we talk about implementing the course correction in Metro Vancouver and North Vancouver. And, you know, just to highlight the significance of the Lynn Valley town center as being a catalyst for restoring watershed health. Again, this is from my perspective and the partnership's perspective, and looking to you and the kind of leadership and innovation you're showing in terms of rainwater management and in terms of watershed sustainability. And so, you know, what really came through in the interviews I did a lot of these interviews with staff, is how the whole approach is really building on the stewardship history and the ethic, you know, which is so deeply rooted in the North Vancouver community and the entire North Shore. And I'm from the North Shore. I grew up in the North Shore, so I know what that means to hear when people talk with passion about the landscape and how we're shaped by, you know, the wilderness up above, and then the ocean and the riparian links in between. And so there's not even more pragmatic reason why the partnership has a particular interest in the watershed blueprint, because the partnership has invested the best part of $250,000 in both cash grants, and in kind, because again, I said, you know, ultimately we're all volunteers, and so you know, the significance is, well, you're showing how to implement the course correction. What really struck me is the town center redevelopment, how it's, you know, viewing it through a rainwater lens, recognizing the culture, the history, and the power of partnerships. And there's so many partnerships in play here. In particular, the UBC partnership over the years has been a lot of successive research with UBC students, master students. All this has kind of contributed to you know, the innovation you're displaying. But then, in terms of where did the partnership money go? Well, it went into these two tools, and so the real importance from a partnership perspective, in addition to, you know, to showing leadership, is the fact that you have provided these demonstration applications of both the drainage infrastructure screening tool and the water balance model express for landowners. And you're already informing and influencing other local governments through through what you're doing and trailblazing here. I'm almost done. And one of the other parts of the story which really got my attention, and I tell this to everybody who I meet with in other local governments, is the role that the Streamkeeper community has been playing in this process, and the ecological opportunities assessment, which is, you know, that's really the heart of the Hastings Blueprint, and that is founded on Streamkeeper knowledge. And in this regard, I'm looking through the quotes, and I thought, what's the best quote to show you? And Zoanne Morton, I presume you all know Zoanne, the executive director of the Streamkeepers Federation, but she's also a Hastings Creek resident. And she said, when I interviewed her, Streamkeeper participation in the process and the local knowledge captured in the opportunities assessment has taken the community to a whole new level of collaboration with the district. So I thought that was a pretty powerful message to share with you when you're reading through that the story of Hastings Creek. And sort of bring it to a close, just to emphasize that the watershed blueprint for Hastings Creek, it is provincially significant, and it is precedent setting in terms of things that you're doing there, and it's really a culmination of a lot of applied research over many years, and that's why that UBC relationship is so important. And so you are informing what we're branding as the Georgia Basin Interregional Education Initiative. And when I say Georgia Basin, I mean, I'm referring to local governments on both sides of the pond, you know, Vancouver Island, Metro Vancouver. There's a lot of sharing and learning taking place, because you can't, people can't afford to reinvent the wheel. So learn from others. And so, in terms of collaboration, what it means, benefits flow both ways. Everyone, when you collaborate, goes farther and more effectively and efficiently and all that kind of stuff. And so, three key statements, you know, it's designed with nature. That's the essence of your Hastings plan. It's implementing green infrastructure. It's mimicking the water balance, recognizing that what we do on the land, how that impacts on water. When you have that in your head, it makes a huge difference, because at the end of the day, what's it really come down to from a local government perspective, it's reducing risk. And remember my opening slide about financial and environmental sustainability? And, you know, you do these things, over time, you do restore the health of the stream and the watershed. And at the end of the day, you do comply with regulatory objectives, because guess what? Under the the Integrated Liquid Waste and Resource Management Plan, which I can most often never say it because it's too many words and I'm there. Anyway, there is a requirement, right? There's a requirement to tackle watershed health. So you're doing good stuff. That's it.
Appreciate that very much. Council, there's two questions. The delegation, second by Council McKay on break. Council Nixon.
Well, I would like to thank you as a member of this ago, 7 years ago, Richard, when you introduced the water balance model to a group of local government people, and it's considered kind of certainly leading edge at that time. We in the district like to think that we don't only comply with provincial legislation, that we in fact usually precede it, as we did with our environmental protection plan when we first enacted it in the 90s. There was no provincial legislation around it, and so we like to think that not only do we follow, but quite often we actually lead.
Lead and influence.
Thank you very much for recognizing the efforts of many members of our staff, most of which I would say probably fly under the radar from what we normally encounter at council level. We are not always aware of these initiatives that our staff are involved in, and that, in fact, the role that Richard himself is playing in these initiatives. So, thank you for bringing us back.
Thank you very much. I think Al articulated it very well on behalf of council, so thank you. All those in favor? Opposed, carried. Now, I would like to just comment that we do take great pride in the direct line stewardship that Richard in his job capacity and others, some of our staff have in their capacity, but also a number of our staff who actually go above and beyond in terms of how this relates and its priority relates to the work that they do in their planning department, their engineering, et cetera. So it does reflect part of our culture, and we're very pleased on behalf of our staff and in terms of the community when you come forward and acknowledge that, because it is a broad community effort that we take great pride in. So thank you.